I have a very exciting video for you today. From time to time on the public channel, I show these CTKS Paths. They're available behind the paywall to the CTKS Method service members. I'm going to share things with you today that could make and save you a fortune. In this video, I'm going to give you insight into how the CTKS Paths are actually formed, how powerful they are at predicting price for the end of the month, and they also do a very good job intra-month as well. I'm going to take you in behind the paywall so you can see only what paid members know. Each and every month inside the CTKS Method service, we do CTKS Paths across all of the 7 rows of the cheat sheet, as well as release TradingView indicators with the structure. That's what I share each and every day inside the channel. For example, when I talk about Bitcoin structural levels, I'm talking about the Bitcoin structural indicator from the service. This is where it comes from. We're going to do a fairly deep dive on CTKS structural paths, and they solve very major problems that every single trader and investor encounters inside the market. They are doozies and they solve them all. After this video, you'll understand that these paths are not random lines. Here is Solana. This is another example on silver, and this is the current price, the current structure. CTKS Paths are drawn at the start of the month, and they are not changed. They're not changed to fit price. So you can imagine right here, silver was drawn up, and look at how well it's managed to respect structure. I'm going to take you through many charts. You can see the CTKS Paths of Apple here. Here are the CTKS Method paths on the euro dollar and on the DXY. And for example, dollar yen, these are all real-time paths. These are 100% current of the recording of this video. Here's another example on copper. If you're absolutely sick of emotional whiplash, uncertainty, late entries, panic, uncertainty about where price is going, not having a game plan, and thinking from a biased perspective, only up, only down, for example, this video is going to be so incredibly helpful to you. Let's run the numbers. Hi everyone, welcome back to the CTKS Method, where we help you make money with structure. Anticipate market moves before they happen and trade and invest like an institution of one. If you're serious about growing your wealth, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a chance to level up your financial skills. For those who know CTKS structure, it's an absolute and incredible game changer. Looking with X-ray vision at a chart reveals things that other people simply will never ever see. By aligning your trading and investing with structure instead of noise, instead of news, is a game changer. Here, we're looking at the positive CTKS path for Bitcoin. This was drawn at the start of the month. This has not been changed in any way. And people inside the service, you can just pop in and look at this month's video, which was recorded at the start of the month. At the start of the month, a CTKS path is overlaid on every single component of the cheat sheet, and that is shared within the service. And you can see this path predicted the breakout of Bitcoin. CTKS paths predict normalized end-of-month structural price levels. You'll find that these paths are not random. They're not random to the upside, they're not random to the consolidation side, and they're not random to the bearish or negative side either. The CTKS paths extend all the way to the end of the month, and if you're a current member, you already know what the end of month expectation is for Bitcoin from the path. But there are also paths drawn on Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Nvidia, the Russell, the Dow, the Nasdaq, S&P 500, the VIX, the DXY, gold, silver, copper, oil, the 2 and the 10, and of course the leading cryptos. Not to mention the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. Every single chart inside the cheat sheet is drawn up not only with the CTKS paths, but also a TradingView indicator of CTKS structure is provided. One of the biggest challenges facing traders and investors is to understand where is price going. For example, what does the positive price path look like from a structural perspective at the start of the month? What does a neutral price path look like? What does a negative or bearish CTKS structure price path look like? Because people typically do not know these things, it just is a constant source of worry, anxiety, and fear. Having an understanding as to where price can go and within what boundaries price can move inside a specific month is fantastic information. It is literally a game changer. The first thing to understand with these CTKS paths, they're created through Level 2 standard certification. These paths are not random lines. They are also not fitted to price action, and they are not changed when they are drawn. What exactly is a CTKS path? It's a strategic pre-drawn forecast of where normalized price could go up, sideways, or down based on monthly CTKS structure. This means that bullish, bearish, and neutral cases are always provided for. It's built on certified CTKS structure. It's drawn at the start of the month and never changed. It's locked in. It's disciplined by design. It seeks to forecast normalized end-of-month price, and it transforms risk into structure. It gives you a GPS on where price can go. These CTKS paths are covered off in the video to the monthly service members. So you're seeing behind the paywall. If you were trading and investing in silver, you can see how well silver has matched the structure of silver. Typically what people do, they just hope and pray things go in a certain direction. We don't do that here. We just follow structure, we trust in structure, and these lines are not random. The key is to prepare for all outcomes, respect structure that decreases fear and increases clarity. You might think that all structure is the same. For example, Apple structure versus silver versus Bitcoin. They couldn't be more different. All structural charts have different architectures, and this is important to realize. When we look at Apple, it's followed the normalized positive price path. But if you know the structural resistance overhead on Apple, it's unbelievably heavy. How do we actually draw these structural lines? First of all, Level 1 standard certification is required to get the fundamentals and basics. And then, when you've gone through Level 2 standard certification, right at the end, this is where you draw up the paths. It's literally that you learn it once and apply it for a lifetime. It's very important to understand how structure moves in waves. You can see that Tesla is currently following the normalized consolidation path. It's not positive, it's not negative, it is neutral. All charts are intercorrelated and interconnected, and when, for example, the VIX starts to spike or the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq come down, that will be felt by the likes of Tesla. This is why it's critical to check the structure between charts. Microsoft has had a lot of positive momentum, and you can see on last month's price action, it literally closed out on the positive prediction of end of month price, and it's still going positive right at the current time. Moving from reaction into vision and anticipation, having confidence in chaos, wow, they are powerful things to have. Looking at the euro dollar, we can see it's perfectly matching negative or bearish CTKS structure at the current time. And the DXY is currently marrying up to positive structural levels. With the paths, you know exactly where you stand. You have clarity, not confusion, and all of these paths align with CTKS structure. If you're trading Forex, having some concept as to where your pair is going is wildly important. If you have a negative bias but it's following the positive price path, you had better reevaluate, because price is the reality. Typically, what happens is that people just look at a chart, listen to the news, and make assumptions and assertions and put their money into charts based on that. We don't do that here. We look at structure. Understanding structure is an absolute game changer. Here we can see gold has been obeying the consolidation path, but has recently started to gain a bit of momentum. Having the capability to know what could happen in the future is very, very valuable. For example, even though copper exploded, normalization is part of the paths. That is, structural decay after explosive moves is really normal. Actually, candles like this are called green fire candles, because when you get in and you expect them to just keep on going, they burn you. As I was explaining to the service members inside this month's video, there is a tremendous amount of overhead structural resistance in the S&P 500. Even though the S&P 500 went into price discovery, we already knew that the structure was so incredibly strong that it was likely to come down, or at best consolidate. Understanding CTKS structural collisions is really, really valuable. For example, if we go positive and structure is encountered and it pushes backwards, this means that the sellers are simply too strong. The paths act as the ultimate GPS. You've got 3 roads already planned, the positive, the neutral, and the negative. We know that the S&P 500 is not going negative, so you can create 3 plans for yourself. If price follows the positive price path and hits structure at X, I will do what exactly? If it goes neutral, what would you do? If it turns negative, what would be your setups? What would be your actions? Always remember, price is an animal. We can see that the Russell 2000 had a slightly better job, but it's starting to go negative. Remember, gold is starting to go positive, the indexes are starting to go negative. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think this means? And it does mean something that you need to pay attention to. The structure of your money chart depends on so many different charts. Most retail traders and investors will never know this. But our elite CTKS Global family absolutely does. When we look at the VIX, or the fear gauge of the main market, we can see it's just consolidating at the moment, but it tried to rally hard in the past session. This is exactly what is pushing up gold and affecting the DXY and the euro dollar. And its effects will be felt throughout all of the charts of the cheat sheet, and your money chart as well. We've only gone through a few of the CTKS paths across different components of the cheat sheet, but it does show you how valuable those components are. Everything is intercorrelated and interconnected. If you understand what's happening across rows 1 through to row 7, you will be very profitable over time, but you must learn to trust structure and you must step away from fear. Knowing if structural passes or structural failures are occurring on higher timeframes is really valuable too. If you want to get rid of emotional whiplash, want to transform from uncertainty into planning, have a game plan from a month-to-month basis, just get away from random charts to certified charts, think in terms of 3 directions, not just a biased perspective often given to you by influencers and the news. If you're sick of late entries and want planned entries, if you want to move from panic into calm, if you want to get rid of uncertainty and move into structure, if you want to understand what's moving your money charts, the charts that you actually trade and invest in, you'll find the CTKS structure will relieve your anxiety. Please comment below, CTKS Paths change my trading, if this helped you to see markets differently. There are a ton of free resources at ctksmethod.org, and you can download the free CTKS cheat sheet right now. It's your daily edge in stocks, crypto, forex, commodity, and yields. If you'd like to know where price is going before it actually happens, don't forget to smash that like button and please subscribe so you don't miss an edge. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends. And Kate and I look forward to joining you in the next video. Bye for now.